Before the first color television was used in living rooms and humanity set foot on the moon, the B-52 Stratofortress was already flying, born of Cold War urgency. Early versions were crude, dangerous, and never meant to last. Yet 73 years later, newer bombers are retiring while the B-52 keeps flying, receiving upgrades and anchoring U.S. air power. How did this aircraft become the U.S. Air Force's workhorse? If you're fascinated by the U.S. Air Force and the most remarkable aircrafts to come out of it, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss our next breakdown. Introducing the B-52 Stratofortress. The B-52 Stratofortress, also known as the BUFF, first entered U.S. Air Force service in the mid-1950s as a long-range nuclear deterrent, standing alert at the height of the Cold War and later flying extensive combat missions over Vietnam. Built to penetrate Soviet air defenses with atomic weapons, its massive payload, intercontinental range, and adaptable design allowed it to outlast that role. In the post-Cold War era, the B-52 transitioned into a precision conventional strike platform, integrating modern guided weapons and targeting systems that made it a central player in the global war on terror and a uniquely enduring aircraft in military history. Today, the B-52 Stratofortress is a key component of America's bomber fleet, while many of its successors, like the variable geometry B-1 Lancer and the stealthy B-2 Spirit, which are being phased out, have not endured quite as well. A key reason the B-52 continues to fly is its capacity for continuous modernization. Rather than being grounded by outdated features, the airframes are being thoroughly upgraded with new engines to improve fuel efficiency and maintainability, state-of-the-art radar and avionics systems, and compatibility with modern precision strike and standoff weapons. These enhancements are part of what is being dubbed the B-52J upgrade program, designed to keep the aircraft operational well into the 2050s. If this is successful, the aircraft will serve for a full century. But why is the B-52 such a solid workhorse? It all boils down to its original design. Original design of the B-52. The original design of the B-52 Stratofortress was about building an aircraft with margin, durability, and flexibility that engineers at the time could barely quantify. In an era before computer-aided design, Boeing's engineers relied on slide rules and generous safety margins to ensure the bomber could withstand stresses and uncertainties they couldn't precisely calculate. That cautious approach led to an exceptionally robust airframe, with structural strength far beyond what its original mission strictly required. This built-in over-engineering provided the aircraft with vast structural margin, meaning its wings, fuselage, and systems were capable of enduring far more than the typical load cycles a bomber might encounter in its expected service life. The result? The B-52 is a platform that can absorb upgrades and mission changes without being fundamentally constrained by its original design. Instead of tightly packing systems into a minimal space, the B-52's structure and systems were spacious, accessible, and adaptable, easing the integration of modern avionics, communications, and weapons decades after it first flew. With its 8 engines, strong wing structure, and easily modifiable systems, the bomber offers remarkable longevity. Many aircraft are built for a single era of warfare, but the B-52's original design anticipated change by being strong enough and open enough to evolve. You've just seen how the B-52's original over-engineered design gave it a structural strength and adaptability few aircraft have ever matched. But that's only part of why it still matters. Decades after its first flight, this Cold War bomber has been sent into missions and battles that no one would have expected. But how did a bomber built for nuclear deterrence become indispensable in conventional warfare, close air support, and standoff missile strikes? Missions and roles. Initially conceived as a high-altitude nuclear bomber intended to deliver atomic weapons deep into Soviet territory, The B-52 Stratofortress quickly proved far more adaptable than its designers could have anticipated. During the Vietnam War, B-52s flew sustained strategic bombing campaigns, such as Operation Arclight, where formations of Stratofortresses pounded enemy bases, supply routes, and troop concentrations in Southeast Asia. By the time Operation Desert Storm began in 1991, the B-52 had embraced another role. In missions like Operation Senior Surprise, the B-52Gs launched conventional air-launched cruise missiles against Iraqi targets in the earliest days of the Gulf War, flying some of the longest combat sorties in history and striking wide-area troop formations, fixed installations, and Republican Guard forces. In the decades that followed, the bomber's flexibility only increased. In Operation Enduring Freedom after 2001, the B-52HS loitered high over Afghanistan, delivering precision-guided munitions in support of ground forces and close air support roles hardly ever connected to strategic bombers. During Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003, these same aircraft launched roughly 100 CALCMs in a single night mission, showcasing their continued value in standoff strike roles. Even recently, B-52s have flown hundreds of combat sorties against ISIS in Syria and Iraq, contributing to broader coalition efforts with its long-range firepower and mission. Across more than half a century of conflict, how has the B-52 remained relevant? Well, it all boils down to modern weapons integration. Modern weapons integration. The B-52 Stratofortress may be decades older than most of its crew's parents, but today it serves as a long-endurance airborne artillery platform armed with some of the most advanced weapons in the U.S. inventory. Its enormous payload capacity, up to 70,000 pounds of ordnance, allows it to carry a wide mix of modern precision munitions, cruise missiles, and future hypersonic weapons that dramatically expand its combat relevance. A major leap in strike capability comes from the 1760 Internal Weapons Bay upgrade, which equips the B-52 with internal racks and digital interfaces to carry smart weapons like Joint Direct Attack Munitions, JDAM, and Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Missiles, JASSM, inside the aircraft, reducing drag and increasing range. The JDAMs convert unguided bombs into GPS-guided precision weapons, capable of hitting within meters of a target, while JASSMs provide long-range, stealthy strike options from outside heavily defended airspace. In addition to precision bombs, the B-52 has long-fielded AGM-86 air-launched cruise missiles for deep standoff strikes, and recent upgrades are preparing it to host next-generation hypersonic weapons, such as the Hypersonic Attack Cruise Missile, which will offer speeds that exceed Mach 5 and maneuverable flight profiles that challenge modern defenses. Future integration programs may even allow the bomber to deploy unmanned collaborative combat aircraft alongside crewed missions, turning it into a mobile command node for networked air operations. Aside from the legacy firepower and cutting-edge weapon systems, the B-52 has been fitted with new engines that make it even more powerful than before. New engines. The ongoing modernization of the B-52 Stratofortress includes one of the most transformative upgrades in history. The U.S. Air Force replaced its original 1950s-era engine with new Rolls-Royce F-130 turbofan engines. Under the U.S. Air Force's Commercial Engine Replacement Program, the long-serving Pratt & Whitney TF-33 engines, which have powered the bomber for more than 6 decades, are being phased out in favor of the modern F-130, a military derivative of Rolls-Royce's BR-725 commercial engine. The F-130 engines bring a suite of performance and sustainment improvements that are important for extending the bomber's operational life into the 2050s and beyond. These new power plants offer higher fuel efficiency, which not only reduces the frequency of aerial refueling, but also extends the Stratofortress's range and endurance. They also significantly lower maintenance demands and costs, as the F-130's modern design eliminates the need for frequent overhauls that plague the older TF-33s. Beyond efficiency and reliability, the F-130 engines provide greater electrical power and digital control, allowing a smooth integration of advanced avionics, sensors, and weapon systems as part of the broader B-52J modernization. They are expected to reduce emissions and improve overall environmental performance, and at the same time, boost mission readiness. First flight tests of B-52s equipped with these engines are slated in the coming years, with the modified aircraft designated the B-52J, once re-engineered and fully updated, set to enter service as early as the late 2020s. Before we dive into the latest feature that has been added to the B-52 Stratofortress, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel for more insight into the greatest weapons to come out of the U.S. Air Force. The B-52's aging engines are being replaced with state-of-the-art Rolls-Royce F-130s to extend its range, reliability, and service life. But that mechanical transformation is only half the story. Underneath the iconic flight deck lies a revolution that goes far beyond new power plants. For decades, this bomber's cockpit looked more like a time capsule from the Cold War than a 21st century warplane. But what happens when you take a bomber born in the slide rule era and plunge it into the digital age? Well, you upgrade the cockpit too. Digital cockpits. The digital cockpit modernization of the B-52 Stratofortress is one of the ways the historic bomber has remained relevant in the 21st century. For much of its life, the B-52's flight deck resembled the classic analog cockpits of mid-20th century aircraft, with rows of steam gauges and mechanical controls that reflected its origin before the digital evolution. As part of the broader B-52J upgrade program, the Air Force and Boeing are transforming that environment with modern digital displays, upgraded avionics, and a fully rewired electronic backbone to support modern combat demands. Rather than simply replacing old instruments with newer versions, engineers are overhauling how information is presented and managed in flight. Traditional cathode ray tube gauges are being replaced with large, multifunction digital displays, giving pilots and mission crews consolidated views of navigation, radar, threat data, and targeting information in real time. The features of this glass cockpit improve situational awareness and reduce workload by integrating multiple systems into unified screens, a huge leap from the fragmented analog interfaces of the earlier eras. Aside from the new displays, advances like the Combat Network Communications Technology Program have installed a digital backbone that allows the aircraft to receive and share mission updates, threat information, and targeting data in flight. This digital integration enables connectivity with satellite navigation, Link 16 tactical data links, and networked operations with other modern assets. Even more interesting, the B-52 has been fitted with advanced radars that make it dominate modern airfare. Advanced radars. The B-52 Stratofortress is receiving one of its most significant technology boosts in decades with the installation of advanced radar systems as part of its comprehensive modernization. At the heart of this upgrade is a new active electronically scanned array radar, replacing the obsolete Cold War-era mechanically scanned systems that have long limited the bomber's situational awareness and targeting performance. This modern radar is being delivered under the B-52 Radar Modernization Program and represents a leap forward in detection, tracking, and all-weather navigation capabilities for the venerable platform. Driven from proven AESA technologies such as the AN/APG-79 family used on contemporary U.S. Navy and Air Force fighters, the B-52's new radar uses electronic beam steering to scan the skies and ground without moving parts. This brings dramatically enhanced range, resolution, and multi-mode operation compared with the older radars, allowing crews to identify and track multiple targets at the same time, generate high-resolution ground maps, and maintain robust performance even in contested electromagnetic environments. The radar upgrade also boosts all-weather situational awareness and targeting precision, ensuring the bomber can effectively support both conventional and nuclear missions. Recent flight tests have seen the first B-52 equipped with the new system complete ferry flights ahead of broader test campaigns. Together with other digital and weapons upgrades, the B-52 continues to evolve as a networked, capable, long-range strike asset. But here's the twist. You might think that giving the B-52 new engines, digital cockpits, and advanced radar would be all it takes to secure its future as a modern warplane. Yet despite all this high-tech promise, the old bomber's modernization journey is anything but smooth. How do you keep an aircraft from the 1950s running perfectly after all these years? Challenges persist. The B-52 Stratofortress has faced many challenges during the process of modernization. Although the overarching goal is to keep the bomber flying into the 2050s, engine replacement, radar upgrades, and airframe sustainment have proven more difficult and drawn out than originally envisioned. For one, the commercial engine replacement program, which was focused on installing new Rolls-Royce engines, has encountered persistent setbacks, including design issues with engine inlets that caused significant delays in the development. Similarly, the radar modernization program has struggled with integration challenges, parts procurement problems, and software development hurdles that have repeatedly slipped production decisions. The new active electronically scanned array radar, which promises vastly improved detection and targeting capabilities, has seen its deployment timelines shift further into the late 2020s and early 2030s. And of course, the reality is that the B-52's airframe and ecosystem are old. Many of the structural components are now suffering from stress corrosion and material fatigue, expected from an aircraft that has been running for decades. Future of the B-52. As the U.S. Air Force looks toward the mid-21st century, the future of the B-52 Stratofortress is defined by transformation, not retirement. Through the ambitious B-52J modernization program, all 76 remaining Stratofortresses are being extensively upgraded with new engines, advanced radar, digital avionics, and modern communication systems. It's expected to remain operational into the 2050s, making the B-52 the first combat aircraft to serve for a full century. The upgrades are turning the venerable bomber into a networked, long-range strike platform capable of carrying precision munitions, standoff weapons, and future hypersonic systems. Even as the Air Force procures stealthy, high survivability aircraft like the B-21 to address contested environments, the B-52's unique blend of payload capacity, range, and adaptability ensures it remains a core component of America's strategic bomber fleet. So what do you think? Can the B-52 really stay relevant all the way into the 2050s? Or is there a hard limit even modernization can't overcome? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown of why the Stratofortress is still the U.S. Air Force's workhorse, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. And check out our other videos on America's bomber fleet and next-generation air power to see where the future is headed.